And we're back here on Inside the Ropes. My name's Ken McIntyre, joined as always by WWE Superstar. Well, not as always. It's not as always.
It's been a lot of time.
It's just there's a lot going on right now. I'm joined by Drew McIntyre, the future WWE champion. There's no ifs or buts.
No ifs or buts.
It's happening.
First British champion. But devastating, I brought Hulk along.
Well, I tried, but I couldn't get him on the flight. The last time we were supposed to do an interview, it was SummerSlam, and I got caught in a New York storm. And you had some choice words for me, words that we can't repeat on air. You called me a name, but we'll look past it. How weird is it for you that we grew up in Scotland watching wrestling, and now you're going to be in the main event of WrestleMania against Brock Lesnar? Talk about that experience.
That's perfectly normal for a guy from here, Scotland, to main event WrestleMania. It's mental. It's absolutely mental. I can't possibly put it into words. I can't believe I've been in America basically for over 12 years now. And the journey, as everyone hopefully knows that's watching this, if you're watching this show, I'm assuming you kind of know about my story and a bit of history of wrestling. But there's been a lot of ups and there's been a lot of downs, and the fact that I even made it to WWE was kind of a miracle. I was the first Scottish guy signed to WWE, now we have a bunch. And the fact that I was able to come back, get on this roll, get a bit of momentum going, win the Royal Rumble as the first ever Scottish guy and British guy to win it, and now going to main event Wrestlemania with Brock Lesnar, it just doesn't seem real. So if I'm sleeping or in a coma or whatever, don't wake me up till Mania's over.
Because when you had your first WWE run and you were let go, it's kind of this great story now of redemption, because you're like the only person who left and got yourself to a level you've come back and you're now winning the Royal Rumble, you're the main event of WrestleMania. How did you kind of channel that when you were let go to sort of proving everybody wrong and making this huge comeback?
I think initially it was just, I got to do something different. I don't know if it was necessarily proving everyone wrong. I did have a bit of a chip on my shoulder, but I remember talking to a couple of the guys who were doing like pretty well in the indies, and they told me, when you leave WWE, you use your WWE gimmick, you go around, make a lot of money the first run, and you make a little less the second run, doing the same WWE character, and eventually you find a wage you stick at. And to me, I was like, that's terrible business sense. Like, who wants to go down? I need to go up. Like, I think the only way to do that is I got to get a plan together. I got to show the world what I believe I can do and what the company saw in me when I was younger. And I've talked about this in a couple of interviews, that in my mind, I guess, in a few interviews I've done, I talk about how I was so confident and I was going to show the world, and no matter what, nothing would hold me back. I was positive the whole time, and like my wife has been reminding me as we do these interviews together that I guess I was worried at the time. I was upset, I was angry, and I'm good at kind of pushing that stuff out of my mind, but it's started coming back to me now that initially, like, I was concerned. I was like, maybe this is the end of it. I was obviously upset. This is my dream and I let it slip away, and unfortunately it was my fault that I let it slip away.
Well, Mick Foley said on Twitter this week that when he'd seen you on the independent scene after you left WWE, he specifically got in touch with Triple H and said, you need to bring this guy back. I mean, that must be pretty humbling that, Mick saw that in you. Yeah,
that's really cool. 'Cause I did send him to watch. And like I say, when I was out in front of the camera, I was very confident. I had a clear picture in my mind what I wanted to do, and I got it out there, and it thankfully went well. Like the first few appearances, especially that return to ICW and that promo Mick sent or talked to Hunter about. But before it, I assure you, I was crapping myself. I was so worried. I was thinking, oh my God, this 3MB guy is going to say, I'm about to take over the world, and ICW is going to take over the world. And I went out there and I said it so confidently, but it's so weird recently, like going back with it, my wife and stuff, and realizing that I was terrified the whole time, and I was a lot of the time faking it till I made it. But people like Mick gave me the confidence to keep going, and people like, Evolve gave me the platform to be champion there. So many talented in-ring wrestlers gave me the confidence, and as time passed, my confidence really went up to the point where I felt like I was ready to represent not just a company, but WWE.
And then, NXT is quite famous for like the big stars in the front row, and that's the person's going to show up. And in Orlando, that happened. You were there, front row. People went crazy when you were on camera. Talk a little bit about that day and about that happening, and sort of going from being let go because you weren't in maybe a character that suited you to now being brought back and everybody's going crazy for you.
Yeah, I mean, that day in particular was mental. So I had so many appearances that day with I think it started with a signing in the morning, and then I wrestled against Rampage Brown early afternoon. Then I had a serious radio appearance, and then I think I had one more signing after that. And I knew I was going to NXT that night. So in my head, the whole time as I'm doing all this stuff, I'm like, oh God, NXT tonight. But I didn't think about it until I finally finished the last appearance. I raced to the Amway. My wife was waiting at the side of the road with my suit. Jumped in the car. We got to the arena, in the back door, into talent relations. I quickly had a shower. She's dressing me. They rushed me straight to the ring. And finally, I had a chance to kind of process what was happening. And I was like, wait a minute, what's going on? And I sit down and the camera's on me and I go, what if they don't know who I am? What if they don't remember me? What if they just silence when I come on the screen? I just didn't think about it till I was in that moment, sitting in that seat, because I had such a crazy day that all these thoughts are swirling through my head. And thankfully, when I come up on the screen, everybody reacted positively. I get a big, genuine smile on my face because I'm like, thank God they know who I am.
And how important was that NXT run to you when you came back to, develop that relationship with Hunter and be champion there? And how important was that to kind of get into where you are now?
I mean, I think it was essential. When I spoke to Hunter on the phone about coming back, I mean, it was his thought and plan to bring me to NXT, but I didn't see any other way. I was like, I gotta go to NXT. Those are the hardcore fans. They know what's going on outside the company. They know about Drew Galloway and his success and what I'm all about now. So I have to go there for one, that reason for myself, and two, as somebody that's been around and kind of changed his career around, hopefully be helpful to the younger talent there, to kind of bring them along and not only teach them some positive lessons I've learned, but also maybe not make some of the same mistakes that I did. And my gimmick obviously was going around and raising the profile of the companies, and I believe that an individual can make a difference in NXT when the name WWE is what sells the other shows.